You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about the 49ers loss to the Chiefs. You guys know I'm a Niners fan, so of course I'm waking up today still living the same nightmare I was living when I went to bed last night. But, man, there were mistakes all over the place. And most notably, how much we outplayed the Chiefs in the first half of that game and so many mistakes that the Chiefs made, and to only be leading 10-3. That McCaffrey fumble deep in your own territory, I was like, oh, crap. That's not a good sign for later in the game. We should have really been up 17-3 at halftime. And against a team like the Chiefs, you can't be taking field goals all the time. You obviously got to put up touchdowns, but there were a lot of mess-ups last night. I've seen a lot of people praising Steve Wilks today. All right. I mean, he flashed last night at times as defensive coordinator, but he also had some very bad play calls. And that has been noted online, at least one of them in particular, led to a timeout that Kyle Shanahan had to take. Chad Forbes put this up. He said Shanahan should have had the guts to fire Steve Wilks when it was necessary in December. That five-man picket fence defense, giving the wide receiver free releases on 2nd and 14, was the worst play call I've seen in a big game. Well, and what was nuts was he was fixing to call it again about 3 or 4 plays later, and Shanahan took a timeout because he realized Steve Wilks was about to let that happen, and those wide receivers were about to have free release yet again. I had no idea. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it. Another one of the big plays was the fact that he brought I think it was a 6 or a 7-man blitz. He was showing blitz. They were all up on the line, and Romo said, well, he's going to back a couple of them out. And I'm sitting at the screaming at the screen. I'm going, do not blitz all those guys. Mahomes is about to burn you to death over it. And I was like, he's going to back them out. He's going to back them out. Nope, sure enough, he sends them all, and boom, Mahomes burns him. There were a lot of bad plays. The miscue involving the punt, I knew. I mean, and there were some comments made about it, talking about, here we go, Darrell Lueders Jr., it was his leg that the ball came down and hit. Lueders said he did not hear a Peter call. Now, you're supposed to scream Peter, 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 which is get the hell away from the ball. All right? Hey, the ball's coming. You're too close. Get out of the way, because if it hits you, it's a live ball. Anybody can pick it up. And that was a massive miscue. All right? He did not hear a Peter call, which is the signal to get out of the way of the ball. Is coming towards a non-returner. An alert McLeod attempted to scoop the ball up, but lost it. The Chiefs cornerback, Jalen Watson, fell on it, and that, of course, was way down in Niners territory. That was at the 16. It led to a score. The other one, and I vocally said this while watching the game, and I brought this up. You guys heard me. 2 things about this team worried me, all right? And I understand Jake Moody hit a long field goal last night, but 2 things bothered me. Having a rookie kicker and Steve Wilks' defense. Well, Jake Moody missed the extra point. It was blocked. He kicked it too low. And I pointed at the screen. I said, vocally out loud, well, that may cost us the game later. That may cost us the game later. And it's a big deal. It's a big difference. It's a lot more pressure on the Chiefs to try to go down and score a touchdown as opposed to just kick a field goal and tie the game up. All right, so I was worried about that. Then, of course, we talk about plays left on the field. All right, Guy Haberman and Middlecoff posted this one last night, and of course, everybody, all Niners fan will be seeing this in their dreams. This is Chris Jones right here, coming unblocked. You're going to see a wide-ass open receiver right down here. Right down here. Let's run the play. And Jones is going to be coming right through here. There he is right there. And, of course, the ball's way overthrown because you got him coming right through here. Right there. Unblocked. The best defensive player for the Chiefs got left unchecked, unblocked last night. And, guys, I think you got to start being concerned. If you're a Niners fan, there's teams throughout history, most notably you can think of the Buffalo Bills. What's missing from this team? Now, I said the following. I think Robert Saleh or DeMeco Ryans, either one, I believe, closes that game out on defense. And that scheme that they've been running, that more physical scheme, I think is a more physical scheme. Steve Wilks has a tendency to call blitzes at all the wrong times. He called one earlier in the year, Monday Night Football, Vikings game, and he almost got fired over it. All right, that's the dirty little secret out there that Kyle Shanahan was furious over that play call. The fact that he was about to run that 5 across picket fence defense a second time after he had just gotten burned to the ground on it. And he turned around about 3 or 4 plays later about to run it again, and Kyle Shanahan has to burn a timeout to stop him from doing it. Tony Romo pointed it out, rightfully so, last night. He said, Kyle didn't like that. He took a timeout because you're giving free release to the Chiefs receiver. And this is the thing. This was the Chiefs team to beat, I think. Okay, because they were down at wide receiver and weapons this season. All right, and I understand Rice matured and they got better and they got Hardeman back from the Jets. I get all that, but this was the year to get them, I think, and they still won the Super Bowl. You know, you're playing Patrick Mahomes, and you got to wonder, guys, is Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's legacy, is it ultimately going to be the fact that they told Tom Brady no in 2020? That you have to wonder. They thought he was too old. Buccaneers sign him. Buccaneers win a Super Bowl immediately. And I've got to be honest. If Brady's playing on this team, is he even retired right now? I'm not so sure. And I'm not so sure they don't have multiple rings at this point. All right? Because this Niners team all around has had a better offensive scheme and a more quarterback-friendly scheme than Tampa Bay. And their defense over the years has been better. All right? And I'm not crapping on Brock Purdy. I think he did a pretty good job. We're talking about a 7th-round quarterback that made the playoffs and was pretty dominant in the first half, to be honest with you. We also had some really bad penalties. Trent Williams, a local guy to me, an all-world left tackle, a future Hall of Fame tackle, had a couple of horrible holding calls in the first half last night. One that erased about a 25-yard pass, I believe it was to Ayuk from Brock Purdy as we were driving down the field. And I said, man, you get a Chiefs team that's made this many mistakes, particularly in the first quarter. I was like, we should have more than 10 points going into half. It should have been 17-3 or 20-3. And I said then, this is looking scary and it's looking bad. It's setting up for exactly the kind of finish we got in this game. Really and truly shouldn't have been that close, but the Niners made too many mistakes and there were too many bad play calls. So, anyway, I don't normally make these kind of videos just sort of talking about a game and breaking it down, but I felt like I I really needed to, since you guys know I'm a Niners fan, and I wanted to tell you exactly how I feel about it. I think we blew the game. I really do. Bad penalties, poor special teams. I mean, special teams last night, don't get away from the punt, blocked extra point. That's the game right there. Steve Wilks, not sold on him as a defensive coordinator. I'm just not. All right? I didn't think that highly of him as a head coach. And, I was floored. I cringed in the offseason when I saw Steve Wilks was deep in the interview process and was getting hired. We got to remember, they got the shit kicked out of them by the Packers and the Lions, all right, on offense for good portions of both of those games. And the Niners, one could argue, was lucky to survive the Packers. By the way, the Packers are going to be good next year. I think Kyle has to think outside of the box a little bit on defense, and I will tell you this: Pete Carroll still wants to coach. Robert Saleh and D'Amico Ryans runs a form and had been running a form of Pete Carroll's Seattle defense all these years. Kyle Shanahan, get on the horn to Pete Carroll and give him a lot of money to come be the defensive coordinator for the Niners. But make a change there, or Steve Wilks is going to end up costing you another big game and another deep playoff run. I am not sold on that guy at all. And hopefully Jake Moody will be better next year, not being a rookie, but I don't know. And you guys know I'm a Michigan fan. He came out of Michigan. He was a hell of a kicker. But I don't like going in the seasons with rookie kickers on good teams. I just don't. I want a kicker out there that's had some pressure situations. Robbie Gould, anybody. Once again, don't be cheap. Tell me what you think, guys. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.